Welcome into the Off-Brand Avalanche podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some roster projections, so we'll see who we think the Avs are going to take to Edmonton and who we think is kind of going to be actually playing in Edmonton. Two different lists there. So before we kick it off, any interesting Avs things going on this week that you guys want to talk about?
Well, I mean, dude, the NHL, they approved
This
their...
is final. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, everything's final now, which is so fucking exciting. Dude,
The Avs will be playing on August 2nd.
Yep, August 2nd, and then they have a couple days off in between, each games.
Yeah.
Just
It's
because...
the 2nd, the 5th, and
So who are we playing first? The Blues?
the St. Louis.
St.
We
Louis
had St.
Blues,
Louis
okay.
on the 2nd.
I love it.
The
Get
St.
ready,
Louis,
St.
then
Louis.
Dallas, then Vegas.
Get
Yeah,
fucking
I'm
ready,
so
St. Louis.
pumped. I'm ready for hockey to be back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so hyped. Another thing, though,
The first 2 days of 5 games. What's up?
they agreed on the new CBA, and then I saw that the NHL is going to be playing in the 2022 and 2026 Olympics, so that's
That's
awesome.
Just
exciting.
super exciting.
I love international hockey with the best
Yeah.
players.
in the U.S., in 2026, the U.S. should be good.
I mean, even in 2022, a couple years
Yeah.
from now.
Well,
dude?
you're looking at, I'm just looking at that Hughes draft class, and I'm like, they're going to be hitting their prime in 2026.
yeah, that's
and
true. But dude, right
You're
now,
going to
if you
have
look
Hughes, Turcotte,
I mean,
all three Hughes.
if you look at just the USA's roster for 2022, though, it's still really exciting. I mean, dude,
Yeah,
Kaner's still
Eichel,
going to
Matthews.
be Kaner's still going to be a high level player. I mean, if you look at the defense, Werenski, Hughes, Quinn Hughes,
Yeah.
Eichel, Matthews,
Seth
Kane,
Jones.
Brinkett, Seth Jones, dude. USA hockey's trending up.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
trending up hard.
Things are looking good.
But then
Yeah.
just imagine that Canadian roster, though, man.
Oh, man.
McKinnon and McDavid. And,
That's going to be
it's just
scary.
exciting to think
McKinnon,
about.
McDavid, and Crosby. Just toss the 3 best players in the world on a line and let them do
Yeah,
their thing.
that would be so, that would be fun
Can I
to
see
watch.
that, please?
I doubt that's going to happen, though.
Dude, right?
Nah,
I
they'll
mean,
have
those
them
are your
at- they-
those are
they
your
don't
top
put
3
three
centers,
centers.
dude.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
the
You
top
got
3
you got
players in the world.
McDavid, then you got McKinnon, then you got Crosby.
One of them is going to play on a wing, though, because they're going to put them both
Yeah.
in all 3 in their top 6. So they'll put someone on a wing.
Yeah.
Probably McDavid.
It's still really exciting, though, dude. I love watching Olympic hockey. The World Cup of hockey was so fun to watch. When was the last Olympics? 2018, where there was no NHL players.
And that didn't have, we were watching Troy Boy.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, that was still exciting, too, though, wasn't it not?
sorta.
It was still exciting, but not as
Sorta,
good
dude.
as it
It's
was.
like
Definitely not
watching
as good, but it's a little bit
watching
better
the
than
best
It was
AHL
basically-
players.
Yeah,
it was
that's-
like an
that's what it
additional
is.
WJCs, basically.
Yeah.
But, dude, WJCs is more fun to watch to me than that Olympics. I love the WJCs.
Yeah. Well, that's because the WJCs is all prospects, and the Olympics is U.S. mostly prospects and Canada mostly prospects, but then also
AHL
German
guys.
Bell players and
Yeah, KHL
Yeah.
guys, Swedish Elite League guys.
I don't know if you guys also saw this, but
it's not great.
Gary Bettman came out and said he wants to play 82 games next season, which seems to me maybe a little bit unlikely, but if they can get it done.
Yeah.
The ideal
I'm-
start
If they can,
date
it's
for next
cool.
season is December 1st.
Right.
So
That would be interesting.
maybe the season goes a little bit later,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be interesting to see how we get back on track. Do you think we're going to be starting in October, after this next season going forward?
I think it takes I think it'll be 2 more years that are off, and then the 3rd year. So I guess that'd be 2022-23 season will be the
I don't
first
know,
one
man.
that's back on track.
I can kind of see them playing a really, tight schedule starting in December.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
back-to-backs. Constantly.
Ending in May, and then the Stanley Cup ends in July, and they get a little bit of a shorter off season. I think they could start mid-October next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they could. I don't know if it's worth pushing it so heavily to get kind of back on an arbitrary schedule. Like as long as you're still in the winter for hockey, I feel like you're good. But I mean they might. Maybe they just want to get back to the norm and only have 2 seasons kind of weird.
I'm sure. Yeah, I
So
think
they definitely could.
it's probably just up to the players, honestly, because I'm sure if the venues open up again.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. And I just don't really even know how important fall hockey is, though, because they're still competing with the NFL and college football. It's the same deal with the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might. Like, I honestly, if I'm running the NHL, I might just want to bump it back permanently. Because, like, if you're start in November and end in July instead of October and June, and you're taking away a month of competing with the NHL. And also, if the NBA doesn't do the same thing, then you get the Stanley Cup final all on its own in July.
Dude, but I love that where the Avs and the Nuggets are game in, game out.
Yeah, I love that too.
Every game's unless your team's not in the playoffs.
Like,
That's true. That is fun.
April, May is so fun for, like, especially right now with the Nuggets. Well, I mean, I guess not right now because they're going to be competing in August, but still, like, last season with the Nuggets and the Avs both in the postseason at the same time, that was so fun to me.
That was insane,
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Like, just seeing them all back to back to back.
But, dude, I mean...
Yeah, like, every night you got something.
I mean, just look at August for this season. Or, like, just a few weeks from now, we're going to have NBA, NHL, and MLB, and then NFL, like, preseason, hopefully.
We'll hopefully hopefully the Cup will, like, the Cup and the NBA Championship will still be going when the NFL regular season starts.
Yeah.
So we'll have all four sports hitting their stride at the same time.
That's going to be hard for, like...
So fun.
I think that's going to be hard for the NHL, though, because, like...
Yeah.
a significant portion of people are going to be watching the NFL and the NBA. But I still feel like hockey's kind of in its own little segment. Like, hockey fans will watch hockey over any of the other other three majors. But
I think it'll be okay. It's not going to be like a perfect world, but hockey should be okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see who the Avs end up getting in the first round.
Yeah. The NHL
it'll be fun.
NHL also, like, came out and said what hotels all the teams are going to be staying in. And, dude, these hotels are pretty freaking nice.
They're all 5-star hotels.
Yeah, that surprised me.
No, like, the Avs are going to be staying in the JW Marriott, which I think is attached to Rogers Center. Rogers Arena.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Dude, but that hotel is so nice, and I'm pretty sure it's, like, brand new. It's like, dude, if I was an NHL player, I'd want to go stay in a 5-star hotel for 2-3 months,
Yeah.
Yeah, honest. Like, okay, the hotels they're staying at are nicer than my house. So, like, they're not nicer than their houses, presumably, because they all make more money than me.
Yeah.
But, like, hey,
I don't know,
it's not a bad way to be living. They're not
did you see Max
slumming.
Domi?
Oh, yeah.
No, what'd he say?
Well, go ahead, Karim.
It's not confirmed or anything, but, I mean, I haven't really seen any NHL players opt out
been
of the season.
There's been a few.
Well, he's a high-risk guy.
No,
so...
exactly. Yeah, which is...
Yeah, because he has type 1 diabetes.
Oh, dude.
Right.
Okay.
He says he said he was making the decision, it looks
Well,
like.
Yeah, I think
so
he's waiting for all... nothing's confirmed on what he's thinking, but I think he's just waiting for all of his teammates to get tested and all of Pittsburgh's teammates to get tested. All of Pittsburgh to get tested. Make sure no one... Before he ends up committing to the bubble. But I think he's probably one of the more high-profile players to...
At least on the Canadians. But
and the thing is, he also plays on the Canadians.
Yeah, well, it's actually not only all Max Domi. The Canadians want him to wait a couple weeks and see how everything settles in before they see if they need him or not. So it's not necessarily all on Max Domi. And he's the type of guy, like, with type 1 diabetes that he is a lot, like...
Right, yeah.
And I think he's expecting a child here soon, too. Could have read that wrong. But
it's not the time. I mean, I think he's... Yeah, we'll see. I just thought that was probably the only NHL player to, like, grasp my attention when they were saying that they might just...
Yeah, there's a few other guys, I can't pinpoint, that are kind of in the same boat. Like, just kind of, like, wait and see how everything settles in before, like, they make their trip. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting. A thing that I kind of found interesting with the hotels thing, sorry to go back to the hotels, is they put the Flames and the Oilers in separate hotels. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. So,
But I thought, didn't we talk about how they were planning on just having all the Western teams in Toronto and then all the Eastern teams in Edmonton?
Yeah,
they switched it. That was reported very briefly, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's...
You already know, though, if Edmonton ends up, like, coming out of the West or wins the Stanley Cup, there's going to be a bunch of stuff surrounding that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still pretty low on the Oilers. as I've said on other podcasts. I still just don't really love the Oilers. So, we'll kind of see if... Wait, so the Oilers and they still have to stay in the hotel, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't get to go home, even though they're in Edmonton. They still have to be in the hotel.
Because you're in the bubble.
Still,
if you're starting to commute back back home and whatnot,
Yeah.
you're going to increase your exposure or something.
Yeah. So at least that's kind of nice. Like, you don't get to, go home. Makes it a little bit more fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's a good time to be a hockey fan right now, you know? Everything's coming back, and it's starting to look good.
Dude, there's going to be 6 games per day.
I know, it's going to be really exciting. So let's talk Avs roster a little bit. Let's project who we think will be there, and then we'll get into the nitpicking of who is actually on the lineup. So let's just knock these obvious ones off the list.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kind of put them down here. Let's start with the forwards. You're definitely bringing Mac, Rantanen, Landeskog, Burakovsky, Kadri, Nemesnikov, Donskoy, Nichushkin, Comfort, Calvert, Belmar. The standard guys, they're all going to be there. You're going to bring Jost. You're going to bring Nieto.
Nemesnikov.
You're going to bring... so that gets you to 13 with all the super obvious ones. Would you put Kamenev in as an obvious guy that's obviously going, whether or not he plays?
I would.
Yeah.
I
let's
think
put
that's
Kamenev.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
How about Colin Wilson,
and then,
though?
I guess it depends
it
on
looks
his
like
health.
he might be out.
Oh,
It looks like he might be out. I was reading into it earlier today, and I was very surprised.
Yeah. Dude, just the mystery injury that's happened all season. It's like, what the heck is even going on with Wilson? No one even knows, really.
Yeah, I read on NHL.com, they released their kind of roster projection, which was ridiculous because it had Nichushkin not playing. But they said in it that Wilson was out. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's confirmed. I think that's kind of up for debate.
I don't think there's anything confirmed, but I think everyone else that was kind of injured going in has been revealed that, hey, we're feeling better.
Yeah.
Definitely going to see them. But Wilson is definitely still out. I haven't heard anything about Wilson in so long. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be I think that he might just sit out.
Okay, so then going off of that, the 3 guys that kind of jumped to my attention right away, aside from those guys, Billy, I don't know, did you mention Nieto?
Yeah, he's in here.
Okay. He's a guy, I know we'll get further into it, but I don't know, kind of, I feel like maybe
right
gets
on the
short
of
end
the
of the
lineup.
stick. Yeah. But then aside from that, I would bring O'Connor, Kaut, and then another guy I think pretty much deserves a right to come, at least get some ice time or practice time, is Shane Bowers. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
And he's going to be at the camp, so he'll be on their camp roster. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he comes. What do they want to do with the ELC? And honestly, I want them to bring him. I'm not confident that they will. They've shown already this year that they'd rather play Megna, they'd rather play Dries, they'd rather play LFC, they'd rather play all kinds of these guys. I honestly I wouldn't be totally shocked if they even brought AJ Greer over over Bowers.
Well, and we've even seen Barbario play minutes on forward over Bowers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I don't really know
forgot
if I
about
agree with that though, dude.
I think that's not smart, but yeah, it's something that they've done.
Yeah.
Because they just have it. Part of it is that Bowers is a center, and Barbs was playing those minutes as a wing. But it's definitely something. So
I mean,
of the 14, I feel like they'll definitely they'll bring Kaut. I don't know. Do you bring him with his ELC situation? What do you guys think?
I think you probably don't. You've already in this season said that you don't want to burn his ELC. That's why he's not playing. So it doesn't really matter, at least to me, logically, that the season just got moved down later. You still don't want to burn that.
Yeah, if you already decided at the beginning of the season that you didn't want to burn it, I don't think you go back on that now. You probably don't bring him. But I think you do bring LOC. So I'm putting him on my list as my 15th guy, and I think another fairly easy one. I think they're probably actually. I don't know. I wouldn't call anyone else fairly easy. How many forwards are you guys bringing? Like I think
I'm bringing 15.
My estimate would be they're bringing 15, and like $1 million D. Then that's a lot of D.
But then I don't know. The D is just a little bit more interesting to me, I guess. So probably yeah. How many do you think, Billy? Then 16.
I'd
17?
say 18 or 19
Holy
forwards.
crap. Okay.
And then 9 or 10 D.
So the cap is 28 players.
So you get 31 players. I'm bringing 3 goalies, so 28 skaters. It's 31 players.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what position. So you can have. I'm guessing 3 goalies. They might bring 4, but I'd be surprised.
Well, yeah. Then, dude, if we're bringing 18 or 19 forwards, then I would say you bring Kaut and just don't play him unless you really need to.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Kind of like the Byram situation.
I think we wait till we get to our 19th guy and then decide like who are we comparing him to, you know?
Yeah, I guess my 15 was a little bit off there.
Yeah, definitely. Like 15 is like
not bringing
half.
13
like that's
D.
I still think they won't even like wanna, because I mean the Avs are still trending towards the future, you know. Like this isn't their top right now, their peak, and Bowers definitely can contribute on a peak level. I think so. I think they still just bring in other forwards that they just have in affiliate, like on the Eagles, just pull them up like Greer.
Well, yeah, that's
like
the thing, and that's the thing. I almost just feel like I would almost bring Bowers over Kaut just so that like Bowers can actually give you some
in a better situation.
Yeah. But
I
would
really
still
like
probably
Bowers. It'd take a lot for him to play 10 games. Like that'd be something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But how many games? Kaut's already played like 6, right?
I think
Kaut's played 9, dude.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh, so okay. So,
but kind of the Bowers or the Byram situation here.
Right.
I would still maybe bring some of these young guys along just to like kind of get a sense of the camaraderie of the team.
Right. Just be around the boys, learn some systems,
get some ice time with them.
Right. It definitely it doesn't hurt. I mean, you are like. Potentially, this could be an argument in the other way, putting players that aren't going to play at risk, but that's not really a factor to me. But that could, I don't know, because you just don't need to bring some of these players for sure.
Yeah, you don't. But then it also like
you don't, but you do. Worst case scenario, you got 4 people that are falling off, get injured or whatever. You need to play. You need to move 4 people up. So
that's really worst case. That's bad. Really bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
Exactly. But I mean, that's why you're bringing in that many people.
It's also like not unheard of, especially with like.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, this is a
especially with the Avs this
situation. Yeah, like Billy said, look at the Avs this year, and then also it's like we're going into a brand new quote unquote season here, with like, you know, a scenario that none of these guys have ever been accustomed to, like, especially the teams in like the play-in rounds. Dude, it's like they're gonna have 3 exhibition games before they get thrown straight into the fire of like a playoffs. So I feel like you could see a little bit more injuries happening in comparison to, like actual regular season.
Yeah, because they like especially those soft tissue injuries, the whole the ones you see early in the season, So those are definitely there's going to be a high occurrence of those. So. The kind of there's a group of 3 here that has played games for the Avs that aren't prospects, so they're kind of go-to call-ups. You've got TJ Tynan, Sheldon Dries, and Jason Megna. Yeah. Are all 3 of these guys coming, or do you think some of them get left behind?
I would say Tynan is, Dries is. It would be hard for me to bring Megna.
Basically, if you're bringing Megna, you're either leaving Kaut or Bowers home.
Yeah. So. Yeah, dude, and like, I would play Bowers over Megna. I would play. I mean, dude, we've even seen like Mark Barberio. He can play some.
See,
forward.
like I would play Bowers over Megna. The Avs have shown time and time again that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I have 18 guys here that I think are coming. I did include Megna. So I have McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Burakovsky, Kadri, Nemesnikov, Donskoy, Nichushkin, Comfer, Calvert, Belmar, Jost, Nieto, and then you get into the other guys, like the leftovers. You've got Kamenev, Logan O'Connor, TJ Tynan, Sheldon Dries, and Jason Megna. So that I'm at 18 forwards. And before I fill that last spot, I want to decide if I should bring another defender or another forward. So should I bring 18 and 10 or 9 and 19? I've got 7 guys that I think are probably coming on defense, and that's Makar Gerard, Eric Johnson, Nikita Zadorov, Ryan Graves, Ian Cole, and Mark Barberio. The first question I have for you guys on defense is Kevin Connaughton. Does he come?
I guess that depends what you do with your forwards in the end, but if you're only bringing 7, you don't bring Connaughton. No, not in my opinion.
Well, you're definitely not only bringing 7.
Yeah.
Well, if
you're bringing 9 or 10.
Oh,
probably.
you're bringing.
So you probably got at least 2 more here. Yeah. I think Byram is probably your 8.
I would bring.
But then,
do you bring LFC
Lindholm? Or not Logan, Connor Timmins, and Lindholm?
Yeah.
I think Lindholm probably comes.
I think Lindholm definitely comes. I mean, he's proven to be like a solid like, you know, 7th pairing or like 7th defenseman in the past. Not a guy that you rely on like all the time, but I would bring Lindholm.
So that I think Lindholm almost certainly comes. I think the other one, Byram, is a near certainty. So that gets you to 9 defenders. So now between your defenders and forwards, assuming 3 goalies, which I did, you now have 1 spot left. You get to choose Connor Timmins, Kevin Connaughton, AJ Greer, Shane Bowers, and Martin Kaut. And then you can also, if you want, you can take off Megna, and then you get to bring 2 of those guys. But I'm leaving Megna for my list. What do you guys? How do you sort out that situation? That's like a tough call to me.
For me, I'm dropping Megna, and I'm bringing Kaut and Connaughton. And Timmins.
You bring in the prospects?
Yep. Just because, dude, I feel like this is, especially with the Avs that are looking to make like a deep run, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, I feel like there's a lot to be said about the camaraderie and getting to know all the boys. Especially with like prospects that are supposed to be a pretty valuable like asset, you know, moving in the future.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it's valuable experience to be just with the team in the playoffs. You know, really that guy last year was Graves, who he got to trail. He didn't play, but he kind of just got to follow along, be with the boys for the playoffs. And I don't know if it has anything to do with his year this year, but he definitely he feels like a real member of the team now. Yeah. And I don't know how much of going to the playoffs had an effect on that, but you definitely want to be with the boys as much as possible. If they could bring more guys, they would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that they bring. I think that they bring Connaughton.
Oh,
that's just where I'm at with the Avs. I think they're gonna play it as safe as possible.
Yeah, I would say that's fair, especially because there is a fine line between building some, chemistry for the future, and then also bringing the very best roster that you have right now to make a run for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, on my list, I left off I made the decision. I left off Bowers, Kaut, and Timmins, which I wouldn't do it. I think that the Avs would.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. It's going to be interesting to see who they end up bringing, but
yeah, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any kind of debate to the goalie situation? I brought Grubauer, Francouz, and Hutchinson. Do you think there's any kind of debate there?
I think those
not
are
even
three.
Warner.
No, not even Warner.
Oh no, they wouldn't put Warner over Hutchinson. No. I think before Warner they'd bring Bibo or Miska. I think Warner's down the pecking order in the NHL.
Yeah, but it kind of still ties to my original point. If you think that Warner is going to be an asset in the future,
I don't believe that the Avs view Warner as an asset.
You don't think so?
Right. Legitimate NHL asset in the future.
Francouz, bro. You got Francouz. I think that
when you have
Yeah, you got 2 pretty young goalies. I guess Gruz.
They're both.
I mean, they're not they're both late 20s to early 30s, but that's not old for a goalie.
Right.
You're both.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like they view their goalie situation of the future as Warner and Annunen?
I think they view it as Annunen. I don't think that they view Warner. I think, if anything, they might view him as like a potential backup, but I don't think that they're like. They definitely don't view him as in the same way that they would view a Timmins, Bowers, or a Kaut. Like, those guys are all like you're expecting them to be on your team. I see him like kind of the same way that you're viewing like. I can't think of a great example here. Like maybe a Logan O'Connor, honestly. Like a guy that you're like, yeah, I think he'll probably maybe be on the roster at some point, but they're not making moves to make sure they're not babying him into the NHL.
I guess that's a fair point, but then how come he got called up this season then and had to play some games?
Because everyone else was hurt. He was still in the pecking order. He was still behind Bibo and Miska, but they were both hurt. Bibo and Miska were both hurt for the game that he got called up. Then he played 2 games, and as soon as Bibo was healthy, he got the job over Warner. And then they traded for Hutchinson.
I don't know. I guess I just like Warner better than both of them, but
I mean, it's tempting to go with the young guy, but I'd be very shocked if they brought Werner. Like, I think I'd see that if they decided to bring 4 goalies, I think it'd be Bibo.
Okay. I mean, I think, like, in the goalies, it's less of a camaraderie aspect and more of, like, if you are really relying on your third goalie, you need the best goalie that you can put in the sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely
like,
true.
if you're bringing... I mean, I think Bowers might make the trip over Kaut just because Bowers has the ability to play where Kaut literally cannot without ruining his ELC, but... Like, if you bring Bowers on, he might not even touch the ice one time. He might not even be, like, at risk to touch the ice. Like, if shit really hits the fan, he still just might not even play. Like, they'll have enough forwards where, unless you're losing, like, 6 guys, you're not going to have to rely on, But if you're on your third goalie, I mean, both Gru and Francouz have been injured within a span of, like, 2 weeks? 1 week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, you're definitely wanting to bring the guy that gives you the best chance to win. So.
I don't think Warner is. I think Hutchinson.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that, Francouz and Grubauer don't both get hurt because that would be. That would not be good for the Avs.
If Francouz and Grubauer both got hurt, we've got bigger problems than deciding who the third goalie is because I don't know that we're even it'd be real tough to call us a contender on our third string goalie.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Hamburglar stole us a game in Nashville.
Yeah, if it's only for a game, we might be able to do it. But like, if Gru and Frankie are out for the long haul, then we're not where we want to be.
Yeah. All right, boys. Do you want to get into the projected lineup then?
Yeah, let's talk lines. So, 3-headed monster. That's an easy one.
Let's go line to line. Let's go line to line here.
Yeah.
Like each of us. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start like that. So. Do you keep the 3-headed monster together, or are you mixing in Burakovsky or mixing in Nemesnikov or doing something funky there? Or are you throwing the 3-headed monster?
Yeah.
I kept them together.
So we're all on the same page on that one.
Yeah,
so then let's talk about the actual interesting one, the second line. I think you've got Burakovsky and Naz. That's the easy one for the second line, right?
Yep.
Are you doing anything else? What are you doing with that third spot?
So this is where it gets interesting to me. You bring Donskoy to be that guy on the second line. But we've seen this year that Nuke he's playing amazing, just to say the least.
Yeah,
so
he's been real good.
I could see Nuke there, or I could see Donskoy there. It just depends on the looks that you're getting from St. Louis or in the play-in round, I think. But to start, I would probably be safe and put Donskoy there over Nuke. And then Nuke can go ahead and truck on that third line.
Definitely. I like Nichushkin's fit as a third liner a little bit better, which is why I lean
the grindy line.
But I'd like to also throw out Nemesnikov, just the name,
dude,
because we did trade him, and that's a good. Marshall, do you have something on Nemesnikov here?
No, I mean, you guys have kind of all touched on it. I think it's a 3-headed race there. But I do think Donskoy has the edge there just because he spent a lot of time playing with these guys earlier this season, and for a good portion of the season, at least a couple months, they're one of the better second lines in the NHL. So, I'm still going Donskoy there, but Nuke did prove that once he got elevated, he even got elevated to the first line for a couple games, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were really thin.
Yeah,
Landy
and so did Nemesnikov for the last 2 games.
But Nuke, to me, he's really shown me that this season he can drive the play for little bits. And another player on that second line that's done that as well is Burakovsky. This second line is supposed to be the best second line in hockey, and if the Avs want to win a Stanley Cup this year, that needs to happen for sure.
Yes, it needs. Burakovsky needs to kill. Burakovsky needs to keep going.
Yeah.
Definitely, and I think my reasoning for Donskoy, I actually think Nemesnikov is the best player of the 3. I actually think Nichushkin would be second, and Donskoy would be my third.
Really?
As far as ranking the players, but I'm putting Donskoy on the second line because I really like the idea of putting that third kind of shutdown line together. If you're getting, Comfer and Nichushkin and Nemesnikov on your third line. That to me is a really, really solid shutdown third line.
Yeah,
which is why I just playstyle wise I put Donskoy on my second.
This third line is almost a little bit of like a 2B line.
Yeah.
If you're putting Nemesnikov, Comfer, and Nuke together.
Yeah, all of those guys.
That's a solid line.
That's a very solid line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite call it like a good second line, but on an average team, that's a solid second line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a cup contender, that's a good third line. Yeah. I like them a lot.
What do you guys think about Comfer's two-way play? I think Comfer's underrated on his two-way play.
I think
for
so
sure.
Too.
I
would agree. He plays very grimy.
I don't know how I feel. I feel like at times he's so underrated that it borders on overrated, if you know what I mean. I think to the casual fan he's underrated, but to the hardcore fan where everyone's like, oh, we're all talking about his underrated D, it's a little bit overrated at this point. I think he's a very solid in the D zone, but I think Nichushkin is better. He's not a Nichushkin. He's not quite as good as Landeskog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's
he's not quite at that level, but he's a really good defensive forward.
Nichushkin has proven to be one of the biggest pickups the Avs ended up bringing in from last season.
Do you think they sign him this year?
Oh,
I think so. There's a player that I'll talk about
absolutely.
on the fourth line that needs to do some work for a contract for sure. We'll get into that.
Yeah, I think we're thinking about the same guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this to say about Nichushkin before we get into our fourth line. If the Selke, if you just read the Selke description to the word, Nichushkin would be a contender.
Yes.
The only reason he's not is because there's this unspoken rule of they have to put up so much offense, which Nichushkin has not done. But if you're just going by the best defensive forward in the league, absolutely
he had a rough first couple of months. He started to put up that offensive production.
Even when he was hot, he wasn't putting up Sean Couturier or Patrice Bergeron numbers.
That's fair.
But still, dude, in terms, he went, 100 games with Dallas without scoring a goal?
Yeah.
He went for two years. Wait.
And then he finally snapped it. There was an over-under, the Vegas odds, and he snapped it the game that determined the over-under, and it was hilarious.
Dude, now he's scoring goals off of his face.
Yeah, now he's doing a lot.
Dude,
it's hard not to root for this guy.
Yeah.
It's funny because the Dallas fans all hate him at this point, but we love him.
Dude, it's hard
not to.
I think he's one of the more underrated assets on this Avs team this season.
I think that's what makes the Avs a contender. Is that you can put up, other than our fourth line, I feel like our top 3 lines, anyone could step up on any night and be the one that wins the game.
We even have a player like that on our fourth line too, which I think so at least.
Calvi, yeah.
No.
Yeah, so let's talk fourth line.
I was thinking Belmar.
That's also true.
Name.
That
fourth line was the. I love the fourth line.
I also love the
savage,
fourth
bro.
Line. So who do you guys have as your fourth line then? Who do you guys have as your
I'm having a
fourth
tough time with my
fourth.
Calvert is my only lock. Calvert is a lock. I think Belmar is very close to a lock.
I think
that you put Bells in just for the
leadership. I think matchup dependent, there might be a case to leave out Belmar. Matchup dependent.
Ooh, I don't know,
That's
man.
hard.
Karim just hit on it. Belmar brings just that leadership intangible. He wore an A for a good portion of the season.
Vet, yeah. But
if you give someone the A and he hasn't even been on your team for a little bit, I feel like you appreciate him way more than just he can play. But he plays out of his mind too. If the top 2 lines aren't playing, you can almost trust that the fourth line's gonna grind some games out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro.
Let me give you this hypothetical. You're playing Edmonton. You're playing a team with a bottom 6 that you feel you can exploit. Is there a temptation to roll out both Nieto and Jost with Calvert? so that you're getting a little bit more offense, and that you feel like you can exploit their bottom six a little bit more, kind of score a couple goals.
The only thing
that's my case for leaving off Belmar and situationally.
I don't see a whole lot more offense from Nieto than Belmar, though.
No, yeah. I agree. Nieto's the guy that I like.
Belmar has been putting up some numbers. No, I mean he had a career year numbers this year in points.
Belmar had a better season this season than Nieto by a point, but still.
That's true. Yeah.
This year, but honestly, when I'm thinking if I'm in this situation, I'm like, I need someone to score me a goal. I'm not. God, I hope I'm not choosing between Belmar and Nieto. But if I am, I'm still leaning towards Nieto. I think he's the better offensive player.
I guess in the history in his career probably, but
in his
not
career.
This
but
season.
I mean, you still.
But what do you want tomorrow? If you're projecting, who?
Well, if we're playing St. Louis first game, I think you put in Belmar.
Absolutely, I agree with that completely.
I think Matt Nieto's still solid. I just like Belmar, what he brings, and how that fourth line for the first 2 months, 3 months. I mean, they almost had more points in that second line.
Dude, it's kind of funny. The three guys that we're talking about were all separated by 2 points. Jost had 23 points, Belmar had 22 points, Nieto had 21 points.
Which is why it's so hard to differentiate them,
I think Jost is a lock right now on that line. Dude, I feel
you're scratching Nieto?
I'm scratching Nieto.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he was scratched for the first
but I'm having a hard time doing it.
I am too, but I think he's a perfect 13th forward.
Yeah, wasn't he the scratch at the beginning of the year when we had a healthy team?
No. When we had a healthy team, we didn't have Nemesnikov, so we didn't have to worry about it.
That's a good point.
So we were scratching Kamenev.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Kamenev.
So are we all going Jost, Belmar, Calvert
yes,
on the
that's
fourth line?
Exactly what I
am too. I think that's a very solid fourth line too.
That's a fourth line that can put the puck in the net.
It could
and play defense.
Interchangeable too.
Mm-hmm.
And
like you said,
I think there might be situational movement, but I think that is your standard fourth line.
Dude, I think Calvert's as much of a lock as any player on this roster.
Yeah.
No, I think you lock Calvert just for the grind.
I don't think there's an argument.
Just what he brings, the
Calvert's
grittiness
he
brings to the team.
There's no way you aren't playing Calvert if he's healthy.
No.
He's a gimme.
Calvy's one of my favorite players on the Avs, so I'll just say that right now.
He's so fun to watch. He's just that gritty guy. He's the fan favorite, you know?
Yeah.
You love the way he plays.
He'll fight Victor Hedman and Pietrangelo. He wanted to take on Chara.
He'll go with anyone.
Yeah, he's
I mean, what? He put his head on the line just to stop that shot?
Dude, he did. By Pettersson, yeah.
Yep.
And then, Pettersson was like, yo, this dude just got ripped by a puck.
He's like, hey,
on the back of the head.
Can we stop this play? Yeah. And the refs were like, no, we're going.
Bleeding from his ear.
That was insane, dude. I don't know how they don't stop the play when there's blood on the ice, but whatever.
When the opposing player is calling you over to stop the play, then it's time to stop the play.
Dude, and there's a situation like that just a couple games before that, too. I forgot who it was with. Where, the play should have been called dead.
Yeah, it was like a
dude. There's so many bad
thing
calls
for
against
a
the
minute
Avs,
there.
bro.
Yeah,
I saw
there's
dude,
bad calls against everyone.
That Nikita, and when Lucci just socked him in the face, and Nikita got the penalty. Oh my god, I lost it. That was so bad. Anyway.
Let's get back on track here. So let's talk about our defense. I feel like this one's a little bit easier. I feel like the 6 is obvious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how we pair them. Are you leaving Makar with Graves, or is there a temptation to try turn and burn a little bit?
No, I'm leaving Makar with Graves.
Yeah, I am too.
That Sammy G Makar line last year in the playoffs was sick though.
It was sick.
But they sucked in the regular season.
No, yeah. I know. If they could just.
I think they'll play together a little bit. Bednar doesn't hesitate to break up the pairings. He does not have strict pairings. He'll play people situationally, but I think
if someone's having a bad game,
your starting lineup, you're going Makar and Graves together, and probably EJ and Gerard.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And then Cole and Zadorov on the bottom pairing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think like the defense is a lot less complicated.
Dude, still that third pairing D, Cole and Zadorov, that's not a bad third pairing.
No, that's super solid.
Yeah.
Honestly, my questions, like the things I want to talk about on defense, are a little bit more. Who's your first call up? Because is it Byram or is it Barbs? And then if it's not Byram, like how far down the list is Byram? Is he your 10 or is he your like 7, 8, 9? How likely is it that we see Byram play a game?
I think it's very unlikely.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think you go first call up, Barbs.
You go Barbs, I think. Yeah.
Second call up Lindholm, and then Byram.
Right, we've touched on it a little bit.
You're like, we're looking at 3 injuries before you're willing to play Byram. Yeah. I think I might put him ahead of Lindholm, but I still think the Avs are definitely going to go Barbs first.
Well, you still also just have to watch that ELC.
Right, and like we said, Byram is not a Makar, so he can't.
Yeah.
He's not going to just come in here and play it up like crazy. Yeah,
he's also a year younger than Makar. The other thing, I will say, what if your injury happens in Game 5 of the conference final? So now you don't have to worry. There's no worry about burning the ELC. You could only play 9 more games.
I would still go with players. I would still go with players with NHL experience.
100%.
Yeah, you're still not
especially in the conference finals.
No
dude.
Byram.
No, there's no way you bring in the Western Championship. If that's when you need to play him, I think there's 2 other options that you would want to play way before Byram.
Yeah, dude.
I think one. I personally think they'd put him in before Lindholm. But I think that it's fair to say they might not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think whoever that 6th defenseman would play like 5 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, don't have to touch too much on it.
If he does play, it won't be too much. But definitely, it's interesting. It's like you really want to see him play. Just because, you want to see your 4th overall pick play. But is it the best situation? Is it the right call? Is a different conversation.
Yeah, but I think the top 6 is pretty set in stone right now, and I feel like it's pretty set in stone with the pairings that we have.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's too much movement. I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. I think we're kind of there.
Yeah. Right now we're talking super hypothetical. Like I think we know the lineup unless something really drastic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this could be a little bit more interesting, guys. Do you want to move on to the goalies?
Yeah. So, I'm starting.
Who gets
Grubauer.
your game 1 start?
Is anyone not starting Grubauer?
I'm starting Grubauer.
Yeah, same.
But the leash is as thin as
real
like
thin
a hairstring. So
real short leash.
I feel like it'll be. I don't think you're just gonna burn Gru out. I think you might put Frankie for a couple games here and there. So I don't think it's just going to be Gru playing the entire time.
Ooh. I think it will be, except maybe my question to you guys, the play-in. Yeah, do you give Frankie a play-in game? Or not a play-in, I guess a round robin.
Yeah, I would give
I think I might give him Dallas.
Yeah, I would give Frankie a chance. I mean, dude, Frankie's proven to be a high-level starter this season.
Right.
Yeah. He's been real good.
That kind of gives me a little bit more comfort here. It's like we don't have one like absolutely dynamite stud, but we have 2 very solid goalies that can both steal your games. So if one is proving to not be like what the Avs need, you have the other guy to rely on.
Right.
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah, I think that it's a. I'd be very surprised if Grubauer didn't get at least the initial starts.
Yeah.
Do you think so? How quickly would you pull him? Like, if he has a bad round robin, is that it? Are you ready to move to Frankie, or are you going to give him a little bit longer of a leash?
I'm ready to pull him. I'm sorry, dude, but like,
okay.
I don't know what you guys think, but I think Frankie has proven enough this season that it's like, if Grubauer comes in and is not looking like he's ready to make a run to the championship. And then if he
doesn't look like last year's playoff Grubauer.
It also depends on how well like Frankie looks if we give him a game. If Grubauer has 2 games in this, like seeding games and does not look good and Frankie like steals us a game, then dude, I'm going with Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if Frankie also doesn't look good, then like, all right, I guess we stick with Grubauer and we say, hey, we really need to get these guys rolling. If Grubauer plays like playoff Grubauer last year, then I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
If he plays like kind of early to mid, like, you know, December Grubauer.
If we're getting December Grubauer, we're screwed.
Yeah. Then I'm like, then it's time to go to Frankie. So, but I don't feel as confident with our goalies as I would with, say, like, you know, a Dallas with a Ben Bishop or a Tampa with an Andrei Vasilevsky, but I still feel good about our goalies. I feel like we're average to above average in the goaltending department as far as the playoff teams go.
I feel a lot better with our goalies than Calgary or Edmonton or, you know.
Even Carolina or
fucking San Jose.
But there's definitely some reason for concern. Did any of you guys end up bringing 4 goalies, or did we all just bring Hutchinson?
Yeah, I just brought Hutch.
4.
Okay, so then, all right, just let's clear it up here before we get out. Let's all bring our let's list our final rosters. Let's list who everyone brought. Do you guys? So I brought McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Burakovsky, Kadri, Nemestikov, Donskoy, Nichushkin, JT Compher, Calvert, Belmar, Jost, Nieto, Kamenev, and then, like, here's where it gets interesting. I guess let's just talk about these part. We all know we have those 14. So I brought Logan O'Connor, TJ Tynan, Sheldon Dries, and Jason Megna, and then I brought the major 6 on defense with Barbario, Byram, Lindholm, and Connaughton, and then the 3 goalies we talked about. So who are your, like, after the easy starters, who did you guys bring? Like, who were your extras?
So the only guy that is different for me, I'm leaving off Megna and bringing Timmins. Yeah,
okay.
I'm bringing Timmins.
All right. And then, Zach, any changes for yours?
So I, just based on that, I'm leaving off Connaughton and Tynan, Megna, and I'm bringing Bowers, and I'm bringing Timmins.
Okay.
Actually,
I like that.
I like that a little bit more. I'm leaving off Connaughton and then bringing Bowers.
Yeah. Okay. And Karim, is that what you're doing as well?
Yep. Leave Megna, leave Connaughton, bring Timmins and Bowers.
All right.
But I feel like it's a little bit weird for us to leave off. Can Cal just go on a vacation for a couple months?
Like, just come with the boys.
And that's why I didn't bring Cal for the LAC.
And I do think there's a chance that they bring him because they know they're comfortable dropping him to the NHL if they absolutely have to.
I think there's a very good chance they bring him.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. I still think you don't want to burn the ELC. You haven't the whole season. You haven't been wanting to burn the ELC. I think he was ready to play when we were all injured, but they still didn't bring him. So I think they give him a call and they're like, "Yo, we're not gonna bring you up, but we want you up here. Just bear with us."
Just be like, "Cal, we know."
You're gonna play. You are our future.
We know you're an NHL guy. We just if you didn't play him against the Rangers in that last game, when we were like scraping the bottom of the barrel for players,
when are you gonna?
You
play
made it very
there's
clear
no
that you're not
to
gonna
bring
play
him. I think, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Just bring him on a vacation.
Bring someone that you think you could play. Send him to Tahiti. Give him a weekend.
No, bring him on vacation.
A 5-month getaway.
I mean, I still want him to kill. I just don't think, like, you still want to be able to play your person worst case scenario, and I don't know. I still bring Bowers. I think Cal's already kind of been in the system. He's been in the locker room. I think you give Bowers that chance a little bit too.
Yeah, I definitely think so. All right. Any closing thoughts for you guys before we head out of here for today?
No, bro.
The Avs are stacked.
Avs
are looking good. All right. Thank you to our viewers for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, whatever platform you're on, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere else. And check out the rest of the Off-Brand Network. We're going to be recording our sports podcast here shortly. Marshall, you have something here?
I do have something. We are thinking about hosting some live watch parties. You guys
let us know if you'd be interested in that. We might do some live watch-alongs for the Avs games. We wouldn't have the game on the screen or anything because that'd be illegal. But we're gonna we'll just have the 4 of us. We'll kind of be watching. You guys can hop in and just kind of a place to hang out and chat about the Avs game while it's going on. So We don't know exactly. We don't have any dates set for which particular games we might be doing, but keep an eye out and let us know if that's something you're interested in. And we'll see you guys in our next episode.